Hi, and welcome to our onboarding video for CodeGOAT. Today, we'll be talking about the projects section. Right now, I'm currently in the beginner journey entitled Coding Using Blocks in the project section, which is shown by the puzzle piece. In each project section, there is a tutorial of what's to come and 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. For today, we're going to click on the beginner game. And this is a screen of what the game projects look like. As you can see on the right, there are step-by-step instructions of what to do to build out your game. Your level editor here is where you start your game design. You have different elements to build out your game board, specific checkpoints, collectibles, and options for barriers along the way. We'll come back to this section as we walk through the step-by-step instructions to build this game. But now we're going to go into our logic editor, where you're going to be dragging in and dropping different code blocks. And then on the left, you have your code block options. You might notice that the names of these code blocks are different than what you saw in the adventures. That's because now they are associated with gaming language and that bring in that real world aspect. Now you might see that there are some already selected code blocks on our screen, and these are some presets in the beginner level to get you started. So let's go through step by step how to build this game out in this beginner level. I'm going to go here through my instructions. And I notice that it's having me start in my level design. So I'm going to go to my level editor, and it wants me to add a collectible ring as part of my game element. So all I have to do is click the object that I want and then click the tile that I want it to land on. Okay, so I followed those instructions. I'm going to click next. And now I need to add some code in for the game elements itself. So I'm going to go to my logic editor. So it's asking me here to add some movement to my joystick. So I'm going to go over to my code here. And for when my joystick is pressed right, I'm going to have my game go right and follow the same for the other directions. Press left, it's going to slide left. Up, it's going to step forward, and down, it's going to step backwards. Now let's see what else I need to add. So now I need to add some game features. What happens when Robo collides with a trap or a barrier? And what happens when he collects the ring? So I'm just going to follow my step-by-step instructions and add that in here. So when Robot collects the ring, he's going to remove the ring, and that's the whole point of my game, so I'm now going to say game complete. Now, if Robot collides with a trap, then that means game over. And I think that's all that I have to add for my game elements, so I'm going to click next, and now I'm going to run the code and test out my game. I'm going to click play. And let's test out some of the game features. So I'm going to first make sure that the code for my joystick works. To the right, up, backwards, and left. That's correct. I'm going to test my win condition. So if I do complete the level and get the ring, what will happen? Awesome, a message displays that I win. Now let's test it again and just check to see what happens if I run into an obstacle or barrier. Awesome. My code for my game over shows up great. So I have completed all my steps to build out the code, and everything is working correctly. So a little bit more details here. Again, as a teacher or a learning leader, you have the Show Model Answer option. If you just click this button, it provides you with the correct code needed for this specific game. When I click finish, I have the option to save And here, as you can see, I can play my game here. It's saved in my account, and I can always go back and edit my code later. Or I can also download it to an APK so I can play it on an Android operating system. Now I want to pop over to our Projects tab here. And as you can see, these are the projects that I have saved in my account. But there's also a cool feature where I can create a project of my own in an open editor. So I can either do a game or an app. Let's pop into the game and just see what it looks like. As you can see, there's no tutorial on the right, and you're only given one basic start code. This really allows your student to bring their creativity to the game that they want to build out themselves. Now I'm going to go back and we're going to take a look at the app. So if I were to click Create an App, it brings me to our Open App Developer. Now this looks very different than the game development. This is because it focuses on text-based coding in the languages of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This app developer is associated with the junior app development journey where real-world coding and text-based languages are utilized. As you can see here, you have your input section for the code and your output display of what that code would look like. I'm just going to pop in some example code here so we can see what the input and output features look like, and there you have it. Now going back to the project's main page for the beginner journey, I want to just discuss some of the benefits of having projects. The project section is a really fun aspect of CodeGOAT. It allows students to explore their understanding of coding and apply their creativity to connect with real-world programming. These projects help students to apply their coding skills and the coding mindset that they developed throughout the journeys. Following the instructions in the tutorial gives you insight into how real-world programming and game development works. And of course, by working through the advanced journey, junior app development, it gives insight into how real-world programming works for building an app. I hope this was helpful and gave you some support in understanding the project sections of CodeGOAT and how to best utilize them. This is really an awesome space that applies skills and creativity for each learner. If you have any questions again, please feel free to reach out to us at info@codegoat.org and we'd be happy to help out. Have a great one!